Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the new Yonex Ezone 100. This is the 6th generation Ezone. They kind of made a mess of that last generation, the 5th generation, which was this one. I didn't particularly love this one. They went from that DR100 that I absolutely loved, and I'm sure you guys do too. That was like one of the best rackets of that time. DR100, DR98. People still search for those today. I still get phone calls asking me if I have a beat up demo of it. And unfortunately, I don't. And they go for like, 200 plus on eBay. And then came this one, which is the 5th generation after the DR. I was very excited to play with it. And when I played with it, when I demoed it the first time, I was like, that doesn't feel right. The flex was in the wrong place. It wasn't quite as stable. It just wasn't a great racket. I mean, I tried it 2-3 more times, gave it to other people. They kind of all had the same sentiment, and then everybody went back to their DRs and decided to search for more of them. The weird thing is that when Yonex brought this out, the DRs were still out too. So it was like a 6-month overlap, and everybody kept buying the DRs. I would say the DR was Yonex's #1 selling racket, even after this came out for 6 months, and they took it off the line at its peak. I mean, it was at the top. They were making so many sales of that DR, and then they nixed it, and it was gone. And then they kind of created a secondary market for it, and they were going upwards of like $250 to $300 on a secondary market. So that was like, that was just my gripe about Yonex and that DR line. But that was a great racket. So enough about this bad racket. So when they came out with this one, and they sent me a prototype of it, in one of the other videos, I compared it against the DR98, and I was shockingly surprised. The shape kind of changed in that 98, but it became again very stable, very predictable. Nice feel, good playing racket again. It was smooth again. I still don't think it's quite there like a DR, but it's like almost there. If DR was 10 out of 10, it's like 9.5 out of 10, like almost there. All right. Sorry, I'm just griping. I just love the DR. So the 100 Ezone, features of the racket. Head and these guys are doing the same thing. They're doing the stuff to the shoulders of the racket. Head calls it spiral fibers. And Yonex is calling it strong elastic graphite. Strong elastic graphite. Does that make any sense? Whatever. So, but that's what they call it, and it's in the shoulders of this racket, and it makes it more stable. Right? And then going forward in most, if not all, of the Yonexes, there will be like a vibration dampening mesh in all the handles. It started with that stand racket that came out 6 months ago, maybe a little more. So it's gonna have like a slight vibration dampening system technology. They call it dampening mesh in the handle now. So I'm going to compare these two and tell you what we come up with. Let's check it out. I brought the balance board over here today, and we'll do this first. New Ezone 100. Well, let's see where it clocks in. This is strong balance. 328 millimeters. The predecessor. $327. So we're gonna go to the scale. Just so you know, this is a demo, and it was slightly used. This white stuff you see is just the overgrip residue that was on there. So it's, you know, doesn't have a disease or anything. All right, at the scale. New Ezone. 320 on the dot. Okay. That's interesting. Older version's a little lighter on, at least here, 313.5. Swing weight it. $320 weight, $320 swing weight. $312. That's interesting, huh? All right, let's talk about this a little bit. To sum it up, Yonex back to old form. 2020 Ezone 100. I believe the 98 and the 100 will be the racket of the year this year. These will be #1. I love the way these play. I love the way this one gives me the feel, spin, and firmness that's kind of back to what it was prior to this version. So the numbers that we just ran, this is pretty spot on. Like everything that we did, the weight, the swing weight, the balance is pretty spot on. For those of you who want to know flex, this is a 69, okay? I can't test that. I'm just telling you what it says on the website. It's a 69. This is a 68. And this one's a little off from what I could see. So a little bit of quality issue. And that's not usually normal with Yonex. But this one, from what I can see, is slightly off in the weight here. But I'm glad to see Yonex has gone back to what made them great in this racket. On a side note here, the grip, the one thing I noticed when I first got these rackets is the grip is a little thicker. So it's kind of like a Babolat grip, if you know what I mean. You know, it's a little on the generous side. So it looks like Yonex is following pretty much everybody else in the rest of the industry, except for maybe Head, and making these things a little thicker. Because usually, you know, that's a 3/8, right? That's kind of generous, is my word here. It's kind of bigger. Take this 3/8 and measure it real quick for you, just to see if I'm right. But I can feel it immediately that for some reason it feels a little thicker. And this actually has the plastic compressing it, so this is pretty true. Yep, it's right. It's in between at 3/8 and a half and this is supposed to be a 3/8. So yep. If you decide to buy these Ezones, maybe buy a grip size smaller, because they are a little thicker now. All right, that's my review of the Ezone 100 2020 version compared to the old version. All right, you have any questions about these? I know there's a lot of you who are a big fan of these rackets, and you'll love this one. Racket of the year, in my opinion. Okay, if you haven't tried it, please try it. I'm almost 100% sure you'll love them. All right, thanks for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.